Hello and welcome to The Out of Towners, a Liverpool FC fans podcast. I am your host, Prash, and alongside with me I have...
James, happy to be here.
Excellent stuff. So before we get into it, let's just talk about our passion for Liverpool. We are two very big Liverpool fans. We are, may I just say, diehard fans. And we are here to bring you a different take on the sort of ongoing and sort of... We are here to bring you our take on Liverpool FC for the coming season. And I hope that the three of you that are listening enjoy it. And without further ado, I'm just going to get straight on with it. James, what got you into Liverpool FC and how much skin in the game do you have?
Oh, my journey with Liverpool FC started probably the first day of school, school, 5, 6, 7-ish, sometime around there, as kids do. What football teams do you support? At this point, I wasn't really into football. The friend that I'd met that day was like, I'm a Liverpool fan. I was like, yeah, I'm one of them. Anyway, as time goes on, you start going, well, let's see what this football's about. And all I can remember is some bloke with a pretty snazzy moustache hitting the ball in the back of the net week in, week out. And from that point onwards, the legend that is now Ian Rush, I think, is ingrained in my head. And from that point onwards, I'm a Liverpool fan.
Brilliant.
How about you?
Yeah. Not dissimilar to yourself, to be honest, mate. So I'm probably a bit older than you, but once again, I can just about remember the tail end of Kevin Keegan being very, very young, and Liverpool FC was all that I knew. That then evolved a few years later into knowing of a very great legend who played for our team by the name of John Barnes. Barnes to me was an absolute hero.
What an icon.
Yeah, absolutely. And growing up in the 80s, being a person of colour myself, there wasn't a huge amount of role models, but I latched onto John Barnes, and week in and week out, that guy just showed what it was to be a Liverpool FC player.
As role models go, there aren't many better at the time.
There aren't many better. And to be honest with you, just to kind of tack on to the end of that, I met him a few years ago, and although they say never meet your heroes, I met John Barnes, and that old sort of adage doesn't mean a damn thing, because the man was an absolute gent. He had time for us. He let us take photos with him. We spoke with him. He was just a really personable person.
Nice.
So, like I say, that kind of ingrained me and had me like as a very staunch Liverpool FC fan. So moving on from that, let's go on to what we're going to talk about in today's episode.
Yeah, first game of the season, done and dusted. So we'll have a quick recap on that.
Yep, sounds
Talk
good.
about some of how the players are getting on. Maybe break down some of the tactics, see if we can work out what was going on in that game.
And
we'll move on from that. Players of the match, etc., etc.
Right, so, opening game of the season, we had Bournemouth, which... obviously, last season we gave them an absolute hammering, which was beautiful. But a lot of people did mention that it could have been a bit of a banana peel for us this time round. Bearing in mind that they'd lost their back four, essentially, with us taking their left back, Milos Kerkez, who may have had a bit of a questionable debut, shall we say?
I think he got a bit excited playing his own old club.
Yeah, I would agree with that, yeah. Very, very lucky to have stayed on the pitch. And I think Slot probably did the right thing taking him off.
I'll be completely honest. I was expecting that game to be a complete walkover. Lost their defence, thinking we've got a whole new attacking force. They're not going to be able to stand a chance. Was a little surprised when they got playing.
Yeah. I remember us talking about this, and I remember that I couldn't watch the game live, but in our WhatsApp group, there was a lot of tomfoolery going on, shall we say? And I rushed home to watch that game, and I think as final whistle went, I started watching it on Sky, and yeah, by the time I got to halftime, I was a little worried. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So scoreline, probably a decent first result, 4-2. Bearing in mind last season, this time we ended up losing to Nottingham Forest early in the season, who we thought would be a similar kind of game.
Absolutely.
I think it's probably worthwhile points to be taking at this stage in the season.
It's the Liverpool way, isn't it? That scoreline was to be honest, it was a great game of football and a really good advertiser for the Premier League in general.
As first games of the season go,
it's memorable, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not many more exciting games than that one, I don't think, that I can remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely end to end, but we'll get into that.
Was absolutely fantastic game. I don't think we could go any further without mentioning that Federico Chiesa goal.
You've been dying to talk about that.
I really have. I've been chomping at the bit for that. To me, that is the moment. That is the moment of the game that will live with me for quite a long time. And that it's a moment. You go on social media and it's just constantly being reposted, isn't it?
Yeah. Great finish.
It was chaotic.
Couldn't happen to a greater guy, though. Somebody who needed a goal.
We were all willing for him to be the one to score it as well. I think we'd agree on that.
Well, and since that goal, his agent's come out and said that he's got no intention of leaving Liverpool. So,
and that's music to my ears because I really felt for the guy last season. I thought that it was a crying shame that he didn't get more minutes. But I can understand why, because I think Slot mentioned this in his press conference today regarding the Newcastle game, which we'll talk about later on in the podcast. But one of the things that he was asked about was Federico Chiesa and the fact that is he going to stay? And Slot has come out. I nearly said Klopp. Slot has come out and said, yes, he's going to be called upon. He's going to be used this season, and I know. Us being such advocates for the guy, that's music to our ears, at least. And I think every other Liverpool fan, as you could tell by the song that they were singing for him, that absolute glorious song. I'm glad the guy's sticking around.
Well, you keep one eye on the AFCON coming up, and you think about how he would be short of players if he did go. More players would have to bring in. I'd rather have someone like him who has a proven track record when he's on top form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope it continues.
Absolutely. So moving on, yes, we've said, I think we've sung Chiesa's praises quite a lot there. Let's start with the rest of the team. So your man of the match was?
I'm going to have to go for Ekitike just for such an impressive first debut at the club. It kind of brought back remnants of Firmino coming back.
Absolutely.
Just positional play, joining the channels, joining the play between front and back. There were points in the game where he was the first person back, chasing back to defend. He was in the box. He got a deserved goal, very deserved goal.
Yeah.
And what a great start.
There was some incredible movement from him. I have to agree with you there. Just looking at his, as you like to see on Sky, they do the heat signatures, and his is all over the pitch. There was numerous times that I saw he would be end to end, and yet a thoroughly well deserved goal. I think we've got ourselves an absolute gem there, and I know just from us two speaking prior to doing the podcast, we were quite excited about him. I certainly thought, and I know that you'd agree with me here, his ceiling might slightly be somewhat slightly higher than someone like Alexander Isak, who, if you look at the two of them side by side, seem quite similar players in terms of where they play. If
you look at their stats after the first 100 games or whatever of professional football, they're almost identical.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so both at the age of 23, played similar amounts of games, similar amounts of goal contributions, similar amounts of goals. I think they're peas in a pod, basically. However, we've got one currently. Whether we get the other, we'll see.
Yeah. Again, this is something we'll touch on later on in this podcast. But yeah, I mean, in terms of our attacking lineup, you can't really argue with what we have. And a lot of people are saying, well, it might be a bit threadbare and we need one or two extra players. I would be more concerned about the defence rather than who we have up front.
Yeah. Although you see Jamie Carragher's article in the Telegraph this week where he's turned around and said that if we don't sign Isak, we're not going to win the league.
Right.
Because there's no strength in depth.
as much as I love Jamie Carragher, he's Liverpool through and through. It's a very fatalistic thing to say. No one can predict who's going to win the league. Everyone's got their opinions. We've all got our opinions. Are we going to retain? I don't know. It's a tall order. But I'd like to think that we're in with a very good shout of doing it. One thing that does worry me, more than Arsenal, is Man City.
They surprised me.
Yeah, the fact that Pep Lijnders is there now, and you can see they're almost playing in the way that we used to play under Klopp.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities there. They are frighteningly scary.
Yes. We'll see how they go, because they always start a season like a train and then they drop off. Last season they dropped off and didn't come back till right at the end.
Yeah.
But they have now won the most games since April, I think, out of anyone in the Premier League. So,
yeah,
team to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I'm acutely aware that this is meant to be us talking about the rest of the Liverpool team, and we've kind of digressed a little bit. And I guess that's natural for two guys that have never really done podcasting before.
Should we touch on the new players? We've obviously talked about Ekitike.
Yes.
Verts?
Yes. I feel that this guy brings a lot, adds a lot to the team. His movements off the ball as well. The little touches that he makes. So for Ekitike's goal, his was probably the move that set up the move to score the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
There's something about that guy that just, he sees things that other players don't see.
And I think once other players on the pitch start finding him in these spaces, I think teams are going to get unlocked and things are going to start happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's a lot more to come from this guy. We've seen some good things from him in the Bundesliga.
Yep.
You can watch all the highlight reels on YouTube and you can see what kind of a player he is.
I think he just needs a few games to bed in, get used to the pace, the physicality, those kind of differences.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
And let's be honest, there was quite a lot of new players in that team. They take time to gel.
Of course they do. No one's going to hit the ground running quite like, not quite like Sunderland, who really surprised me. But again, that's another story.
Yeah.
Yes, Florian Wirtz is an incredible player. I think from what I see with that front line, we've got some really big things to come. I'm so excited about the season ahead. And he's going to be one. He sees things. You can look at other players as well. Like Mo Salah's game has changed somewhat in the last couple of years. I think again, his awareness of who's playing around him and kind of seeing how to play certain balls now has changed somewhat. He knows that he's got a player like Wirtz there. He knows that he's got a player like Ekitike there. So there are certain things now that might just change the way that
there were a lot of pockets of space that were opening for Salah, which he didn't exploit. And I think it's because he's not used to them being there. I think he's had a season or two of having to play a different style of football, and I think now having a number 9 that drops in, creates space, I think has opened a lot of space that he will hopefully get into in those one-on-one positions like we love to remember.
Absolutely. One thing I did want to touch upon in the game, a bit of a controversial moment, was the handball.
Handball,
yeah, the handball that never was, but quite clearly was a handball.
Nice to see VAR have continued as they left off. So.
Consistent as ever, right? That's the one thing you can say, that there's death taxes and VAR being as garbage as it is.
I watched it over and over in slow motion,
right.
And you can make your own opinion because it's very easy in slow motion. Clearly a double movement to stop that ball going through, to stop a goal scoring opportunity.
Absolutely. And it almost seemed like the second hand movement was a touch, because that ball just took a slightly different trajectory to not being touched.
He was very close to playing volleyball at that moment, I think.
Yeah.
And then you compare it to the game on the Saturday with the penalty that was given, where hand was practically behind his back and it hit him on the elbow, and they've given it as a penalty for an unnatural body position, moving to the ball, etc.
Yeah.
I think first game of the season, I don't think anyone wanted to give a decision that was going to be spoken about, and in turn they've given one that has been spoken about. Yeah.
Well, in my mind it was a red, it was a handball, it was a definite sending off. But again, who are we, just the fans that sit there to pay and watch, and
Yeah.
You know, we could talk about it till the cows come home, really, and the decision wouldn't be reversed in any kind of way or changed. So
If it had not ended up with the result we got, I think it would have been a bit more of a sorry subject based on the record of VAR last season and the decisions that we got not given and against us.
yeah,
I think, yeah.
yeah.
Can't really go much further without touching on the racism aspect of the game, which was a real sad thing to see.
Oh, it was disgusting, wasn't it? It's not, again, I've been to Anfield many, many times. It's one of the only grounds that I've been to where I feel absolutely comfortable.
Yeah.
As
One of our own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've never in my life experienced it there. However, that moment I found really quite disgusting. And, you know, fair play to the referee for stopping the game
Yeah.
and bringing everyone in, and the police, to their credit, jumping all over that and getting the guy moved on.
It's the only way it's going to get stamped out. I
Of
think.
course it is, absolutely. Zero tolerance. We don't need that kind of thing in the game. It's petty. It takes away from everything. The game has been global for many years, multicultural. We don't need that kind of nonsense. And yeah, fair play to everyone for doing their bit, and fair play to Semenyo for not standing for it and being
Yeah.
like, you know, we need more of that. We need more of players going, right, okay. And a lot of them do, to their credit.
Yeah.
And also to his credit, it didn't rattle his game at all, didn't it?
Clearly, well, it obviously made him play better.
The
so.
guy scored 2 goals,
Yeah.
and what better response to give some, you know, nasty individual?
Yeah.
And okay, he might be a Liverpool supporter, but as far as I'm concerned, he's not one of us.
No.
And I hope he is banned for life, because we don't need that.
No, that's it. There's making a hostile environment and then there's just being bang out of order. Two very separate things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Back to players, new players. Frimpong.
I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's obviously not Trent,
Yep.
but he doesn't need to be. He brings a lot. Would I say he brings a lot more? I don't know. Trent was obviously great at passing. Frimpong isn't necessarily a defender either. It's quite weird how we've seemed to have.
He's very much a wing back.
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
That's it. But maybe, I don't know if that Slot's ultimate game plan is to have, you know, set up 3 at the back. A lot of people have spoke about that, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is something that he's got his eye on. However, I do like Frimpong in terms of his attacking output. His
Yeah.
crosses are very, very good. His goal in the Charity Shield, even though it wasn't meant to be a goal.
Got to take him when you can.
and do you know what? Shout out for the fact that he scored it on 2020.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of those poignant moments, isn't it? Because you lost one of our own in Diogo
Yeah.
Jota, you know, and his brother Andre Silva. It'd be remiss for us to not to mention that huge hole that's left in our attack.
Well, when it was 2-2, Slot's even come out and said it, hasn't he? He looked at the bench and the one person you'd want to see, unfortunately, is the one
Wasn't there.
person who's
Yeah.
not there for tragic circumstances.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I was watching the game against Bournemouth, and I really felt it second half. I don't know about you, but just, you know, there were just moments I was catching myself feeling quite emotional, thinking, oh God, if only he was on the pitch.
Yeah. Where Salah's response at the end, I think, summed it up for everybody.
What a guy. That's why he's the GOAT, right?
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
why he's the GOAT. He's one of the only ones that stayed on, clapped, and you could see how much it meant to him.
Yeah.
Again, another player I thought had a good game. At parts he was quite quiet, but when he turns it on, he turns it on,
I
doesn't
think
he?
that's what he's there for. He's a game winner. He can be absent for 89 minutes, and the 90th minute he comes in and scores a goal out of nowhere, clinches those points. And you look at how last season went, and the teams around us that drifted off and couldn't keep up were games that they were drawing, games they were losing by a goal, games they couldn't keep up with because they just don't have that kind of player.
That's right. Yeah, totally. Moving on from that, so let's talk about moment of the match. I think I can probably gather this is something we already touched upon.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's your moment of the match?
That's got to be the Chiesa goal.
Right, yeah. I didn't think there was any doubt, to be honest.
I've never seen a player so happy to score. I've never seen a fan base so happy for someone to score.
And that knee slide, right?
Yeah. The last time I can remember that was when Peter Crouch had his goal drought.
Oh, God, yeah.
And he gone 14 games or something crazy without scoring.
Yeah, something close to that, wasn't it?
He scored and you thought that the team had won the Champions League.
Yeah.
That deserved a goal.
Yeah, I'm hoping much the same, that the floodgates open for Chiesa after that. I'd agree with you. That was my moment of the match. It was just gloriously chaotic. The ball coming in from Salah. I can't remember who was it that struck it originally. Was it Curtis Jones, wasn't it?
Yes.
Curtis Jones struck it originally or missed or whatever. The ball came back out. And the way it fell for Chiesa and for him just to hit it, it was almost like it happened in slow motion as you were watching it and you were willing it to go in. And it did, and it was just, yeah.
It's a good composure from a guy who's not had a lot of minutes on the pitch. Bit of pressure on his shoulders. He's taken it very well.
Well, it was incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah. Moving on from that, this is somewhat of a jump, but let's talk about league predictions. Having only been one game into it, are there any teams or any players, or is there anything that's making you sort of predict how you think the league might go this year?
I think it's going to be closer than I was expecting. When you go over the summer and you run away, you see the team up in lights because they've signed world-class players. We're not talking players that they've taken a bit of a gamble on in previous years that have turned out to be good. They've signed players that are proven to be, potentially with Verts, generational talent. So I thought it was going to be pretty plain sailing. Then we watched game week 1 and defensively, let's say we were rusty. You've got teams like Man City that have decided to start firing all cylinders, albeit against Wolves, but
you can't.
No team's easy these days.
No, absolutely not.
Arsenal, I think, kind of set a precedent winning that game, although a scrappy goal against United. I don't think United are the pushover they were last season. I think they've come back with a little bit more bite.
I would agree. I think they look, having watched at least 70 minutes of that game, Cunha and Mbeumo looked like they have added something to that team, giving them a lot more bite.
Yeah, I can see United being the thorn in the side for the title race for those three teams. I think Chelsea were a little bit off the pace. I think they've spent themselves in the summer at the Club World Cup. I thought if they brought that kind of form, I thought they would be a real contender. But
I would add to that I don't think Palace are a pushover.
Yeah.
Certainly still while they've got one of our targets in Mark Gahey, and now the new Arsenal signee, Eze.
Yeah.
They're not a pushover. Glasner is a very good manager.
Yep.
He's very tactically astute. It would be interesting to see if they manage to bring anyone in and whether we get our hands on Mark Gahey.
I think it's all transfers at the minute that we're trying to buy. Is a cascade of players need to be bought before players can be sold.
Yeah.
So let's hope there's some defenders out there wanting to go to Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Well, so moving on from that, let's just touch upon the injuries that Liverpool are facing at the moment.
Right back's my concern.
I think that's everyone's concern because we've lost both our right backs in Bradley and Frimpong.
Yeah. Frimpong's now out till after the international break,
which is a worry
as an initial assessment. So hopefully he comes back quicker. Conor Bradley apparently was back in first team training for a short stint yesterday.
Okay.
So hopefully he's coming back to fitness. Moving forward, I think at the weekend we might revert back to what we did in the summer and have maybe Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones or someone like that playing at right back.
So Szoboszlai has played at right back and isn't a stranger to it. I know that.
Having Gravenberch back in the team, I think, takes the pressure off a little bit.
Massively.
I think that was noted. The lack of control at the weekend. It was very end to end. So, yeah, those injuries I think are a bit of a kick in the teeth. Hopefully they're speedy.
Yep.
But we've got players like Endo. We've got enough depth. It's just whether they're going to add to the attacking side of our defence as opposed to the defensive side.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, excuse me. I think that having a player like Endo at right back, he doesn't necessarily cover himself in glory by being put there. And maybe it's kind of a gift and a curse because he kind of reminds me of when we had James Milner.
Yeah.
He could play pretty much anywhere in that sort of first third of the pitch.
Perfect utility player.
Perfect utility player, like you say. And it is a gift and a curse because I think his ideal position is centre midfield. He could almost operate where Gravenberch does, but hasn't really necessarily been given the, dare I say, the trust.
Yeah, I think Slot's put all his eggs in the Gravenberch basket.
And you can understand why,
yeah.
because he was an absolute revelation last season. Incredible, absolutely incredible player.
And I think it showed at the weekend. I think that control.
We were missing him.
Yeah, you watched that game, and it was in times more heavy metal than under Klopp. It was end to end, all systems go. Which, again goes back to the defensive side of things. At one point, I think there were 8 Liverpool players ahead of 4 of the Bournemouth players in the attacking third, and the ball came out, and obviously Semenyo ran the length of the pitch and put it in the back of the net. So.
Yeah. I mean, touching on that, something that did worry me was Konate. I think if we look at what's been going on before the season started in terms of, he's not going to sign a new contract and Real Madrid have got to him and he didn't seem to me like the Konate of last season.
He did look off the pace, and I don't know if that's pre-season or whether that is just that he has had his head turned and his mind's elsewhere. It could be that he's got 2 new wing backs and he's trying to work out what's going on the left side and the right side, and he's trying to pay too much attention to that new back line. If you consider that back line before must have played near enough every game together for what, 4, 5 years? 3, 4 years?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're throwing in 2 new players. It's going to make things shaky. So we'll watch this space. But strength in depth. We don't have a lot of depth back there. So
no, we don't. And it's worrying. I do think that we need to get some more defensive reinforcements. It'd be nice for that to happen. If it doesn't, I think, from what I understand, that Slot is probably at peace with what we do have. Whether or not that means that he's just going to wait till January and get reinforcements in, which you'd expect if we don't get Gahey. And just to get your thoughts on this, do you think, and this is a nice little segue into transfer talk, in terms of who we might get reinforcement-wise, do we think we're going to get attacking and defensive reinforcement?
I think we're at the table to be talking about them. I think it's getting mighty close to the end of the transfer window now for these kind of discussions when all of them are reliant on other teams getting players. I have heard rumours today that Newcastle have said a bid around about 120 million is expected from Liverpool, between 120 and 130, but whether that's just hearsay or negotiating tactics, we'll see. Attacking-wise, yes, we've only got one number 9 now, so strength in depth. We've lost Núñez, he's gone. Diaz has gone, but we've also brought in some talent. So I'm not too concerned attacking-wise. Defensively, I think we're 2 injuries away from having a very weakened defence.
It kind of harkens back to the season under Klopp. It escapes me now if it was 22, 23, where we had a bit of problems defensively. We ended up having to get in Ozan Kabak.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben Davies, who never actually played a game for us, did he? Certainly not in the league.
I can't remember.
But that in fact, it was the season Van Dijk was injured, wasn't it?
When he did his ACL.
Via Jordan Pickford's nasty challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in trouble that season, I thought, defensively, and we were very lucky to finish where we did.
I feel you can't put a price on what Van Dijk brings to the team, though. That control, that leadership.
And that's it. It's his leadership, isn't it? More than anything else, he just knows how to make.
Because we've signed the young laddie, the Italian guy. I can't think of his name.
Giovanni Leone.
That's the one.
Yeah.
He obviously young, but looks like he's got something about him. So.
Well, again, certainly if you, hop onto YouTube and look at what he did, as many of us are guilty of, when a new player comes in, or if we're linked with anyone, you think, all right, let's just hop onto YouTube and see what he looks like. But one thing that really stood out to me was a game between Parma and Napoli, and he had Romelu Lukaku in his back pocket.
And he's no small man to keep in your back pocket, is he?
No, this guy looks like a bruiser, doesn't he? He's what, 6'4", 6'5"?
He's big.
And he's 18, so he's probably not even finished growing.
Yeah.
And he looks very much like he could be Virgil's understudy.
A perfect place to come to be an understudy if you've got the main man to watch in training every day to guide you on the pitch.
100%. Yeah, I think this could be the start of something. We've not had a lot of luck with Italian players, I would say. Obviously, we're, as we've touched upon earlier, we're both very optimistic about Chiesa. And we can harken back to the fact that in the Euros of 2021, Chiesa was an absolute monster.
He must have been up there as player of the tournament, that tournament.
Yeah.
He was,
Did he? I'm sure he must have got the golden boot or something, but the guy was just an absolute beast. And if we get anything that resembles that player, we're absolutely set.
He's looked promising last season. The times he's come on, he's keen. He wants to impress. He's over everything. Yeah. So give him his minutes, give him his time. Yeah. Hopefully confidence will come back with that goal and he'll start pushing in the right direction.
I hope so. And the thing is, you watch all the footage, he just seems like a really nice guy, doesn't he? Like, someone you'd want to just, like we've already said that we're willing for him, but even if you didn't support Liverpool and you saw this guy, you'd be like, oh, come on.
Unless you're a Bournemouth fan from the weekend.
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
not.
maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Moving on from that, let's touch upon the other big sort of elephant in the room, and that is Alexander Isak. Where do we see this going? What are your thoughts and opinions about this at the moment?
He's pretty much signed his papers at Newcastle, hasn't he? He's laid them out saying he's not playing again. Eddie Howe came out the other day saying, we'll integrate him back in. He's not going anywhere. The club statement that they released after his statement was interesting because they've been saying the whole time he's not for sale. But then in their statement, they've said that the conditions have not been met for his sale. So clearly
they're holding out.
They're either holding out for money, but they're not implying it's a categorical no. It's if someone came in for Virgil van Dijk tomorrow, you're going to go, doesn't matter what you offer, he's not
going, exactly.
Whereas if you release a statement like that, you're saying, well, if you give us enough money or if you give us a good enough swap and money, then he's yours. Yeah. I'd be. But I can't see Newcastle getting a striker. I think they've been turned down for Strand Larsen this week as well. So they've gone from the likes of Sesko and Ekitike all the way down now to trying to find anybody, I think.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you could look at that and you could see that. And you know what? All credit to Eddie Howe, because I think out of everyone at Newcastle, him being the main footballing man there, because they're rudderless at the moment. They've got no one who knows what they're doing. I get the impression that everyone in the club wants Isak out or is happy for him to go, bar the owners who are doubling down and doing this whole, well, we need this money. Eddie Howe, to his credit, has come out and has been trying to sort of firefight, and do you know what? I think he would have been the perfect guy to manage England. Because he seems to know his man management.
He's a very good man manager. That's his strengths.
And what he doesn't coat anything in rubbish. So everything that you're hearing him say is measured, but it's the truth.
Very articulate.
Very articulate, man.
He's very good at saying the right things at the right time.
Yeah.
And says what needs to be said.
He's not spoke disparaging. He's not made any disparaging comments about Isak. He's said, we're talking. There's no issue between him and I. And he's just very realistic in his outlook. And he's quite right in what he says. Okay, he wants to go, But if he doesn't go, there's still a way back in for him. And I think that's the right thing to say.
From a club point of view, you'd have to take him back in, because if he turned around and said, no, he's made his bed, he can lay in it, doesn't play till Christmas, well, the January transfer window, his value is going to have plummeted because he's not played a first team match for 4 months. Then all of a sudden you've lost your whopping big selling fee. You've lost your little bit of buffer for the PSR you could go out and spend.
This is it, isn't it? Is it not a lose-lose situation for Newcastle?
Yeah, I think that, damned if they do, damned if they don't, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. It's I think the best thing to do is to sort of cut their losses. But, are they really going to let him rot in reserves? Is he the kind of player that would just let that happen to himself as well? Or do you think that maybe if there's no categoric transfer to be happening here, is he going to play for Newcastle, or is he going to rot in the reserves? Which will it be?
Well, that leads on to one of our other topics, which is our what we've been hearing. Obviously unverified, but social media points. Now, I saw something on Instagram the other day that was stating that in football contracts, there's a 3-year clause. So if somebody goes over the 3-year clause, they can legitimately buy themselves out of their contract.
Article 17.
Yeah, now Isak's contract is 3 years on the 26th of August. So in a few days' time, circa 20 million to buy it out, but then he'd be a free agent to go on a free transfer to wherever he wanted.
And the funny thing is, who have we got in our next game on Monday?
Well, yeah, Newcastle.
There you go. So part of me wonders whether there's something else going on here. Is there a deal to be made after the game has been played? And are we just not privy to everything? Because there's been a lot of, like you say, if you go on social media, you'll see a lot of people are saying here and there, well, it's all going to be announced after the game against Newcastle. Yeah. Is that likely to be the case? Do you think that we're going to see a deal done after that game?
My theory is that they've had a gentleman's agreement. They said if a fee comes in, and we'll pick a figure, over 100 million, then you can go. This is why Isak's now kicked off, because he's had a fee come in and they've said no. Yeah. I also think that there has been more talks going on, and I think the two clubs are actually working together to try and not go, we're going to put 120 million in and accept it, so then Newcastle get fleeced for buying a new player because they go, well, you've got 120 million sat in the bank. And I think that's been going on, but it hasn't quite played out as they wanted to.
Right.
Because Liverpool, normally, the powers that be, if they're going for a player, it's normally done and dusted in a very quick space of time. No messing around. Look at the players we got at the beginning of the transfer window.
Yep.
Done.
Yep. There was no dilly-dallying. There was maybe a little bit of a delay with Florian Wirtz, but yeah, if you look at the speed of, the momentum gathered with the transfers after that, it was all done in a relatively quick amount of time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, I think. I think the next week is going to be absolutely crucial.
I think there's still quite a few big moves in the league in general still to be made. I think they could go either direction. I think there's a lot of players that will stay and won't stay, and I think it's flick of a coin whether they are going to go to these clubs.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it's nice to see that the club have come out and said they want to keep Elliott this week, even though he's been linked with a lot of places. I know they've said from the beginning, but they were happy to let him go. He seems to be more in than out these days.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, that Leipzig are very, very interested in taking him. And I think, so what I heard, again, this is all social media and conjecture, but what I heard was that there would be an interest if he was to be taken in for 40 million with a buyback clause. But if there wasn't a buyback clause, then 50 million would be the tabling offer to start with.
That'd be a nice chunk of change.
It would, but would we rather have the 50 million or Harvey Elliott is the real question here. Personally speaking, I'd rather we kept Elliott, because what he did last season.
Well, look at him at the under 21s. He's a player of the tournament, easily
and for good reason.
Well.
He's a quality player. There is something there. He is a very talented young man. He may not have the physicality or the speed of someone like Mo Salah or anyone else potentially in the sort of attacking midfield dare I say, certainly not a Florian Wirtz.
He brings a different angle.
He
to the
does.
pitch.
He does.
And you can't ignore his talent. He's a very talented young man. But
Can't forget the wonder goal against Palace last season when he came off the bench and buried that absolute worldie.
I think he's at an age where, and I think all players get to that point. Where am I? Where do I want to get to? Am I going to achieve it here? And you can't fault a boy for having aspirations.
Absolutely not. He's not anywhere near his peak yet, and I think maybe him garnering a bit of experience in a different country, for a team like Leipzig in the Bundesliga would do him the world of good. I mean, we sold Jarell Quansah to Leverkusen with a buyback clause.
Very sensible buyback clause, that one.
Absolutely, 100%. And I don't think it's a bad idea if there's no room for Elliot at the moment, but there's a view for him to come back in the future.
Yeah.
So the door isn't completely closed there with a a transfer like that. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I think I agree, fully agree. I think Chiesa's also come out with his agent this week saying that they want to stay at the club, which is a bonus.
Absolutely.
And there isn't too much more rumours about players leaving, other than Canate with all the rumours about Real Madrid, but that's not going to happen till his contract's ended.
Well, talking of Real Madrid and players leaving, I keep this. It's almost like a rumor that won't die. Is Rodrigo?
Yeah.
So I heard today, and again, this is all social media. I don't know how true it is, but I heard that his agent has flown in to England today to discuss potential moves to either Liverpool or Man City.
Yeah, I heard rumours that he wasn't going up to Manchester.
Right, okay,
But
this
again,
is interesting.
Social media conjecture.
Yeah, exactly. I think he would bring another attacking dimension into our team if he was to sign.
Well, you can't fault his talent. I'm not going to say no if he decides he wants to come, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Either a loan or even a permanent deal, whichever. I welcome a player like that with open arms.
Yeah, especially with Diaz going. I know we've got young Rio who's showing a lot of potential, but
Wow, what a guy.
gosh, how Chelsea let him go, I'll never know, but I'm more than grateful
Well,
to
they're
take him.
fuming that he left, apparently, but there was just obviously something that he saw in coming to us that would benefit his game, and that obviously seems to be the case.
He's obviously been offered the first team appearances because he was on the bench at the weekend, so he's definitely in the squad.
We'll see him.
Rightly so.
I think Slot will protect him, and we will see him this year. But
Well, you listened to Slot's interview after the pre-season game where he'd come on and scored worldy.
yeah,
And
the game against Yokohama,
that's
wasn't
the
it?
one, yeah. And Slot had basically turned around afterwards and go, he's got to work on his position, he's got to work on this, he's got to work on that, but very clever, keep him down to earth. And
you don't want to
keep
let
the
it go
limelight
to his
off
head,
him.
right? Yeah. What a guy! I think he's definitely one for the future. I was very excited when I heard about us signing him, but actually watching him, he looks to be.
There's been a promising talent and showing it in the academies, and then there's coming on a pitch against first team football and
Fearless,
and
right?
holding it your own.
Absolutely fearless.
It shouts out Rooney back in the day, came on the pitch, and decided this is my pitch.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it reminds me of, Wayne Rooney, and that just having the intelligence, the fearlessness, and just the guile to do what he does. And exciting times again. Moving on, we've got our next thing to talk about, which is any hot takes that we have at the moment. What is really at the moment, what's bothering you or what's annoyed you about the last couple of weeks regarding Liverpool and the things surrounding our club?
I think social media criticism of Wirtz has ground on me a little bit.
Okay.
I think most clubs will see this. I'm sure Arsenal are probably feeling it with Gyökeres and the stick that he's getting, but all right, he didn't set the world on fire, but I think he showed enough in the first game to justify what he's come here to do. But it just grates on me every season. Someone new comes in, they don't score a hat-trick in their first game, and before you know it, they're the worst player anyone's ever signed.
It's jealousy, mate. It's jealousy. People are really upset that we have signed an absolute worldie. I think he's going to be something quality. I agree with you there. I've seen some absolutely stupid comments regarding him, and it makes my blood boil. But it's daft. My hot take, the thing that's really bothering me is Newcastle's hypocrisy. I find that with all the stuff going on with Isak, they seem to forget that a couple of seasons ago, Anthony Gordon did exactly the same thing at Everton, down tools, and they were very much like, yeah, no, it's all right, lad. You've done the right thing. Come on over.
Well, look at Wissa currently at Brentford.
And it's the same thing there, right? So they're double hypocrites for having a pop at us. And the funny thing is, last season, when we played them in the cup final, in the League Cup final, I wouldn't have wanted any other team to have beaten us, because I thought Newcastle, do you know what? They're all right. They're passionate. Their fans deserve it. They've waited long enough for a trophy. Their fan base is just as rabid and loyal as we are.
Yep.
It's almost like a mirror, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And now you hit this point now in this season where all these Newcastle fans are having a pop at us. All we've done is we've come in, a player that has made it known since the back end of last season he wants to leave. Yeah. He's been promised to leave. We've come in and gone, well, all right, son, we'll have you. Here's 120 million. Newcastle have gone, no, forget it. Piss off, go away, whatever. You can't have him. But you've done exactly the same thing with Visser. You've done exactly the same thing with Anthony Gordon. And the only reason you haven't sold him is because you haven't got a player in. What is he worth to you otherwise?
I think what it has shown this season, that whole situation, though, is how the big boys have been flexing their muscles this season and gone, we're having that player, we're going to buy him. Ekitike. Newcastle were talking to him. Oh, no, we're having him. Thanks very much. Even Man United have got the pull with Sesko. Right. You look at Arsenal taking Eze. I think players are very conscious of where they're going and their career paths. Yeah. I think as much as fans love to think that they are very much in the club, love the club, take everything they hear at face value, they're career players. They want to win stuff. They want to get places.
And you can't blame them for that.
It's a short career.
Exactly.
And I know, if it was the other way round, if it was Newcastle that were doing it to us, I'd probably be like the Newcastle fans and kicking up a right stink. But
well, we've had it done to us, haven't we, to some degree, with, Coutinho.
Yeah. Sterling,
Suarez.
Yeah.
All those times hurt. We've had it done to us a lot. So for us to be in that position and kind of sticking the boot in, it's dare I say it in a perverse kind of way, it's quite refreshing.
Yeah.
But again, time will tell whether how this one will play out.
I think beginning of the transfer window, I was like, we need him. We've got to have him. As time's gone on, watching Ekitike play, it's like, the strength in depth would be nice. I don't think it's as desperate as I first thought. I'm not going to say no, but absolutely,
it's almost become tiresome, hasn't it? I say almost. It is tiresome. I'm tired of this. I just want a resolution one way or the other. And if we can't get him, I don't care.
I do wonder how long until Liverpool just turn around and go, actually, no, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And then put their efforts, as Jamie Carragher was saying in his article, maybe they should just stop the chase now, put their efforts and go and find somebody else. He's very worried about that number 9 backup, especially coming along with the AFCON, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But he's overly passionate sometimes and overly critical. We'll watch this space.
Yes, agreed. Moving on, what are you optimistic / pessimistic about in the season coming up?
You've got to be pessimistic about Salah going over that AFCON period.
Right.
Last time he went, there was definitely a dip in form just because we were so reliant on him. Yeah. I'm optimistic that we're going to have more in the squad this year. And he's always going to be a miss, but it'll be less of a miss this time.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if Slot's got something in mind, hence why he wants Isak and Ekitike for a different style of play. I don't know, but yeah, that's my pessimistic side of things. Optimistically, we're going to break the goal record the way we've been going. There's going to be so many goals.
Yeah.
I think it's a positive season. I think we've got a big enough squad to compete on all platforms, all competitions.
Sure.
I think the Premier League has quite clearly shown in the last couple of years, other than PSG winning the Champions League across Europe, the Premier League pretty much dominated. So I think it's going to be us against the other two for the rest of the season. I think it's definitely not a one horse race, and it's definitely not a 2-horse race this season.
So tacking on, do you think there are any dark horse contenders we should be worried about?
Looking at what happened kind of over the pre-seasons and ways people were playing, I thought Tottenham might have shown a bit more. We'll find out when they play Arsenal. That's always a fun game to see how they are. I thought they might surprise some people. I think what's going to happen this season is I think your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th position teams, as of last year, Bournemouth, Forest, those kind of teams that previously you'd be like, it'd be a slightly tough game, but it's a near enough a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
I think they're going to really start messing things up this season for clubs. So I think they're going to make it very competitive.
Excuse me. Yes, that's interesting. And tacking on again to what you said about Tottenham, I think they might be the surprise package this season. I think they've done really well to get in Thomas Frank.
Good manager.
I think he is, without a doubt, just watching him at Brentford, which for all you listeners that are out there, that's actually where I grew up. I grew up in Brentford, so I kind of have a soft spot for them. And when they came up with him, I was quite happy to see them hitting the big time. I'm a little concerned for them this season,
especially if Wissa's down tools.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. But bless them, they've got our former captain Jordan Henderson there now.
Yeah, great signing. I'm surprised. I thought he'd gone to Sunderland. I thought he'd gone back to where it all began.
I think we were all probably feeling that might have happened. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Thomas Frank is going to do. I think he's going to do wonders for that team. I'm optimistic for them, even though that's got nothing to do with us. I think Spurs will do all right this season. They've got Champions League football, so that's something. It's unfortunate they didn't manage to sign Eze.
Yeah, I was a bit gutted by that because I think he's going to be a pain at Arsenal.
He's a very, very good player. Again, another West London link. Majority of my family are QPR fans, and so occasionally I go to QPR games just to kind of satisfy that itch of wanting to be in front of a live football crowd and watch a live match. Eze was playing for QPR 3-4 seasons ago and was a revelation there. And I knew watching him there, this guy's going to be big. This guy's going to, he's going to push on and sign for a Premier League team.
Yeah.
And to see him now at Arsenal worries me a little bit. I can't remember who it was who said it. I think it might have been Gabby Agbonlahor suddenly came out with, oh my God, Arsenal have signed Eze, they're going to win the league. Which I think is a bold statement.
It is a bold statement, but he's another player that adds a dimension to their play.
He really does. He's looked good at every level he's played at. He doesn't look out of his depth in any shape or form.
I think Mikel Arteta's career relies on it. I think if he doesn't win anything this season, I don't think he's going to have... He's done wonders, but he's just not achieved anything, has he?
No, yeah. I'll refrain from making any comments about him because this is a podcast and we have to remain neutral to an extent. What am I optimistic and pessimistic about? Well, in terms of optimism, I think it's much like you said. I really like the look of our attacking, our front line looks incredible. Yes, we could do with another body up there, but I think the same in defence as well. I think it's already hard enough as it is to say that we haven't had one of the greatest transfer windows ever. It's generational, seeing what we've seen.
Yeah, I think we need a bus tour just for the transfer window.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, right? Parade them out. But if we were to get, and maybe it's pie in the sky to say it, if we were to get Isak and Guehi, my God, I can't see us like being pipped at anything.
I think we've then got a super squad. We've got enough to have almost
It's PSG levels,
two
right?
first teams. Yeah,
it's
I think that
PSG
all the top teams are now aiming for these two squads.
It does look that way.
There's so many games you have to do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Pessimistic, I'm not sure. I think if we don't sign those players, then I'm a little concerned. That will be my honest take. And I'm more worried about the defence than I am the front line. I think the front line were okay. We could, if we need to, and I think a lot of people discount this, is Chiesa and Rio
yeah,
and Gamoa.
yeah.
I think those guys are ready to step up. I'm more concerned about the defence. I think we need to have enough in place there, because scoring goals isn't a problem. We saw that last week.
Yeah.
It's just leaking goals. So I'm a little concerned about that. I would like to see us, and it will be a good acid test on Monday against Newcastle. Maybe you could say they're a little toothless as well at the moment. So, one might nullify the other.
Yeah, it takes us on to the weekend's game then.
Right, yeah, okay. So, all right, let's jump straight into it. Predictions. What do you think the score is going to be?
I can see Newcastle coming out with a point to prove. You've tried to steal our best player. You've tried to mess us about. You can imagine it now. Players like Dan Burn in that dressing room going, we're not having this. We're going to show this guy that wants to leave us what he's missing. Right. And I think it's going to be a heroic defensive effort, but they just haven't got a striker.
And that leads on to who's going to score their goals if they're going to try and take the game by the horns.
Yeah, I think it will be a tough earned victory for us. But I think it's going to be a game very much attack versus counter-attack.
Right.
And I think the counter-attacks are going to fizzle out, and we're going to build up, and we're going to go again, and it's going to fizzle out, and we're going to go again. But I'm confident for the win. I'm not worried about conceding so much this game.
No, I like it. I'm inclined to agree with you there. I think it might be, it's going to be spicy regardless. You just know it because of all the gravitas around it. Of everything that's been going on in the last couple of months, that's going to have given the game that much more attention, that much more pressure.
Oh, the stadium's going to be rocking.
It really is, right?
Yeah.
But I think we might just shade it. Maybe a nervy 1-0, 2-0, potentially. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, Eddie Howe's always been very good at setting teams up against us. He's quite the tactician when he needs to be. So I'm sure he's got a game plan, but I think we've got the strength to break that down.
I would agree. I think, the next week, like I've said before, is going to be very, very interesting. It will be interesting to see whether after Monday we stick in a bid for Isak and whether that's going to be a thing.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
I think if we don't, I think that's Isak done for the transfer window.
Yeah, I would agree. Who do you think the key players are going to be for Monday's game?
I think this is a game where Wirtz is going to come into his own, finding those pockets of spaces. His link up with Ekitike, the pair of them, I think their movement, I think will.
There's something there, isn't there?
Yeah, they will start to unlock these stubborn defences.
Yeah.
And the spaces they'll create. Whether they have goal contributions, I don't think is as important at this stage. I think they're doing enough off the ball to cause teams headaches.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm with you on that. And then moving on from there, normally what we would have preempted this space for our podcast, bearing in mind this is our first episode, we don't actually have a listener question of the week, but I'd just like to say that if this gathers a bit of momentum when we start to get the listeners in, I will create an email address for listeners to send their questions in, and we will start reading them out on a weekly basis. Yeah. And then moving on from that, I just want to say, is there anything you would like to plug or add in or say to our listeners out there?
I just think well done for getting through episode 1.
Yeah, that's true. If you have been listening this long, well done to you, and you have our undying thanks and ultimate gratitude. I don't think there's much more to add, but what I would just like to say is thank you to James for joining me tonight, and let's hope this is
a pleasure.
Let's hope this is a start of something moving forward. I'd also just like to thank our producer Sam, who, without him being here, we would have floundered and absolutely died. He's helped us make this sound absolutely professional. And again, long may this continue. And I hope all of you out there have enjoyed the hour that we've been chatting our nonsense. Please join us again. I hope that once this is out there, we get some sort of notification that you're enjoying it. We will continue to make this better. We will continue to get more guests. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you. See you next time.
Take care and God bless.